Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Tamara Allen with Pussycat Talk Podcast, and I'm here with the beautiful Alisha West. How are you, Miss West?
Phenomenal, phenomenal. Thank you so much for just having me here. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so honored that you're with us today. But look, I'm honored because this woman be doing the doggone thing, okay? And I'm just like, I be creeping. I be like, okay, let me see what she doing today. Let me see what she doing today. You know, when you be rooting from the sidelines, folks, I root for the sidelines and comment. You know, some people root from the
Mm-hmm.
sideline, don't be saying nothing, but I ain't no hater. So that's the difference, okay? But
That part.
Miss West, if you can tell everybody what you do.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Alicia West, and Doctor pretty much hit it kind of on the head. I do quite a few things. I actually just shifted into the coaching space. I'm actually do luxury real estate, some real estate consultant, as an author and a keynote speaker. So just a couple things on the resume.
Girl, give us a list. Give us a list. Give us a list. We need to know. We need to know. Folks need to know what Miss
Right.
Boss Lady be doing. Folks need to know. Okay? What
Yes,
Leisha
yes.
be doing?
So
What Leisha be doing? Tell the
absolutely.
folks.
So I coach entrepreneurs on how to sell from their genuine self. So what I noticed was that, sales is essential to any and everyone's business. And, if you don't have any sales, then your heart's not pumping in your business. But so many of us have experienced such a negative connotation when it comes to sales that we get a sense of what I call the icks when it comes to
Mhm.
selling, just like you have to sell, right? So I decided to step into the space and say, like, look, you can sell and you can do it from a place of authenticity and being your genuine self and just have a phenomenal experience, not only for yourself, but also for your prospect.
You know, it's so true because no matter what you do, it doesn't matter if you are a hairstylist. You know, that's what we say back in the day. So that's how you know my age when we say hairstylist. Okay. That's when you know my age. I'm saying hairstylist. All right. All right. But it doesn't matter what your profession is, you're selling every single day,
Absolutely.
whether you're a pharmacist, whether you're a teacher, whether you are a person that works at McDonald's, somebody at Walmart. At the end of the day, it is about selling yourself. You have to sell yourself on the job,
That part.
or you have to sell yourself to obtain that particular client for that business. And you're right, it is truly about being who you are, being you. And if you can't be you and authentically you, then folks gonna realize that you fake.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I tell, my clients and my students is that you can lie all day every day with your words, but that energy, your energy, you can't lie with that. So, there's so many different ways to learn, and for each of us, I strongly believe that it's just a sense of walking into a space that is in alignment with who you truly are. And then you can show up as your best self.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. Are you working with a particular age group, or is it everyone that you work with? Because we have to have our target market,
Yes.
our target audience. So who is your target audience?
So essentially, it's entrepreneurs that have a service or a product, right? And it's more so the entrepreneurs that are fairly new into regards to they're not familiar with the psychology of sales. One of the reasons why I didn't go the corporate route is I wanted to utilize the experience that I had. So I did 9 years of sales as kind of like a solo entrepreneur, and realizing the tactics and the things and the strategies that worked for me. And I was just like, you know what? Let me bring that to this space mixed in with the mindset, because one of the biggest things is that people get so focused on that bottom line that they dismiss the importance of the mindset, because essentially speaking, whatever you're thinking, whatever your thoughts, your beliefs dictate your behaviors. So if you are not clear and concise and confident in who you are, how are you going to transfer that energy to that prospect and get them to believe that you are the solution that they need?
You are so right in saying that. And it's funny because as I would literally growing up, of course, in our community, there's because we on Pussycat Talk podcast, so I can keep it real,
I know that's
okay?
right.
Real. All right. Growing up, there was always the light skin, dark skin, brown paper bag test. If you're good enough, oh, your lips are too thick, your skin is too dark. And some of my light skinned friends had different experiences too. They would have, girl, you too light, you almost white. I mean, it was kind of crazy within our own community. And what that does is it creates an actual self-doubt within yourself. It's like, am I good enough? Are people gonna, are they gonna gravitate me? And as social media, of course, I was around when social media came out. You youngins don't even know what it's like not to have no dang old internet. Okay, y'all think y'all can't do nothing without no
I played
phone.
outside. I played outside. You know what I'm
Okay, you played outside. You
saying?
played outside. Okay, you played. Okay, so it's interesting because the internet has allowed a lot of people to become, strong behind the screen.
That part.
Okay, and just, and fake in person.
Hmm.
So how do you feel about, off the internet versus on the internet?
Ooh, sheesh. All right. This. We
Look,
can keep
look,
it real, right? We.
look. It ain't called Pussycat Talk for nothing. Okay.
No, you are absolutely 100% right because I've seen so much of that, right? You see individuals who carry this presence online, and then when you see them out in person, they're either very standoffish, but they don't carry that same energy. And as much as social media has been extremely helpful in exposure and meeting and connecting, right? It has also presented a safe place for people to be fake and to carry this sense of confidence that they really don't believe in, to hide behind the likes, to hide behind the comments, to hide behind the pictures, to hide behind the filters. When in reality, when you meet somebody toe to toe, you have to exemplify that energy. Otherwise, people are going to call you out. And what I've seen is that over the years, we now have developed more trust issues than ever before. Right? Studies have shown that our current generation doesn't know who to believe, much less believe in themselves.
Heck no, because y'all be putting, it'd be a bunch of fake stuff. You got fake booties. Look, I'm cool if you go ahead and, do what you got to do. Back in the day, in my super bang days, I had a tummy tuck and all that stuff too. Okay, I had no booty done, but I did have a tummy tuck. All right, so I was like, because I had all these racetracks. You know how to you have kids. Okay, Miss West, you didn't think it was gonna be like this getting on with me on
Now
this
we good.
podcast.
I'm here for it. I am here for it. Yes, ma'am.
But I mean, I had moved from Chicago to Atlanta. Atlanta was all about drop it like it's
That
hot.
part. That part.
Okay. And so I've been in Atlanta for 33 years. And so it's like now I'm 55 years old. So everything is so
Mm.
different. And I was literally looking at something on Instagram, which had me dying laughing. And it said women in 93 and women in 2023. And the women in 93 was kind of like docile. When the guy would break up with them, she would be
Oh,
crying and stuff.
man.
And now the women now they be like, F you, this, that. And I'll be like, I was like that then. What you talking
That
about?
part.
But it's definitely different. It is so, I don't know if it's, I know when in my generation, because I graduated in high school in
Mm.
86, we were very strong in how we felt. But the convictions with this Gen Z
It's different.
and the younger millennial, I'm not talking about your millennial,
Mhm.
I'm talking about the younger millennials. It's like,
Is very
oh my
different.
God.
And I honestly feel like you know how you go to a restaurant and when you've been given too many options, it's overwhelming. I feel as though that's what's happened with
Yeah.
this society. And the key thing to notate is that you can't have freedom outside of boundaries.
Y'all hear that?
Right? So we need boundaries in order to have that freedom. But it's like we've blurred so many boundaries nowadays that freedom has been taken for granted. And it's just like, oh well, I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that. And it's just kind of like it's one thing to have a strong belief, right? Because beliefs and those who carry those strong beliefs have literally cultivated changes in our society that we have absolutely needed. But nowadays, things are getting a little strange,
How
right?
do we be
And it's just like
strange? I don't even know if we should use the word strange. Okay? Peculiar. We need some other
right,
adjectives.
weird. It's just like one of the things that I look back and I say, I'm just like, at what point does it stop? Right? Like, at what point can we start to say, like, okay, That's just a very, very strong opinion that does not need to be a whole act, you know? And it's just like nowadays, those of us who are willing to speak the truth are being looked at as if we're in the wrong. Like, how dare you speak the truth and be unapologetic about it? And it's just like, when did that become a bad thing? Right?
It's interesting that you say that, because we talk about brand, we talk about being our authentic self, and and because that's what's going to attract people to you, your business, or
Mm.
it's funny because my son, he's 28, and I about fell out when he said he got a funnel for dating. I said, you got a what? I'm sorry, you got a what? He got a funnel for dating. I said, wait, it's online? And he was like, no, mom, but he goes, I was just like, he goes through a process. He goes through a process. And he's like, yep, mom, I'll take her on a cheap, he said something about, I'll take her on a cheap date first. He said, because I don't know if I don't want, because he's an alpha male, so he's gonna pay for everything. And he's like, I'm gonna take on a cheap day first. We're gonna go to main event, do some bowling, something. But I
Let me
want to
see
see
if
how
you
she
athletic
interacts.
first before I take you anywhere. Like, let.
Well, he want to see how, it's like it's. But I told him, I said, because I'm a boy mom, so it's
Mm,
like, don't be letting these girls, don't be paying all this stuff for these,
that's
this
real.
is me.
That's real.
But my friend that's a girl mom, she's like, them dudes better be paying. I was like, well, hold up. So there has to be some kind of in
Mm-hmm.
between, like, because girls are bringing it too, but some guys, sometimes it takes them a little bit longer to be mature, and I'm just like, hey, just treat women with respect. I didn't have you until I was married. I knew what it was like when my mom was growing up, as a teenage mother, so don't do that to the other
Mm.
person. But it was something that's quite interesting when we talk about branding, and I'm next time I'll have you have do the interview with him, because girl, he was telling me some tricks. I was like, dang, okay, y'all didn't do that. Okay. But we talk about branding, and what was very interesting was the situation with Kiki Palmer.
Mm.
Okay. And the dude that she was dating. And you're a very powerful woman, and you got it going on with your business and all that other stuff. We be seeing you, okay? How is it dating for you? Would you date down, or is it harder to date up?
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Uh, Girl, you thought it was just gonna be business today. Come on, let's get with it. Let's get with
So
it.
I I believe that it's important, whew, for one to get clear on what your definition of happiness is, right? And that's one of the biggest issues I feel is happening in today's society. It's just like people aren't clear in regards to what their definition of happiness is, right? And then essentially speaking, based off of what you come to find, then you align that person with that happiness. Like, so for me, I value just true, genuine like conversations, right? And being around somebody who will just literally help me develop my mindset or my skill set, or will look at me and be like, hey yo, did you ever think about doing this and adding this, and I peep this and this can help you, right? I value those kind of things. Yeah, and that's tough.
Don't be shying. Get your butt back in here so I can see you. Don't be shying away from this conversation. Okay.
That's tough. That's
Okay.
tough. I think it's different, and I also think it has a lot to do with just kind of like where you are, right? And the number in regards to like options, because nowadays sometimes you just
Well, it's always great to have
it
options.
is
My he gave me my son gave me a really cool. He said when he's out and about, he may turn on something on Instagram to show where he's at. And and then whoever in the area, it was something that he said. I wish he was here because it was so fire. I was like, boy, we need to sell that, okay? But
like just like
he would
a
boost the
drop a
post,
location pin.
right? And he would boost a post of people. So it was like he was, it was like, hey, that's a prospect. I was like, oh, we need to do something with that, because that's some fire
Hmm.
stuff right there. So they're getting to see who he is, but he's getting to see who they are. And if they, because you can see that now. But I'm just
I do.
like, I like his interviewing process, because for me, for whoever's going to be in my son's life, They got to come with it
Mm,
because they
that
mama
part.
ain't no joke. Okay,
That part.
their mama not no joke, and I don't want them to be with somebody that's not going to support them, but he has to support them too. It has to be a level of balance because a lot of us women and the millennials and even yeah, I can't I don't know about these Gen Zs, but the millennials, they come in with it.
Yeah.
And they want somebody that's going to be able to stimulate their brain,
Hmm.
not just, below the navel.
That part.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
But I feel
Because
like,
I'm trying to
there's
figure
a
out how to communicate.
that
Y'all don't do that but send DMs and send all kinds of stuff in the Instagram messenger. You texting. How y'all communicate with each other?
man, I'm telling you, these conversations are literally the worst. I was just talking to my last tech about some of the things that people come up and just say to you when they haven't processed exactly what to say, and they just come up and they vomit. They just do word vomits, and it's just like, did you stop and think if that was even suitable, or if you were even in a position to come and like say what you just said? Like, does that make sense? And it's
They have no couth.
no,
They just say what they want to say.
they
Because when
do.
I saw the dude say, "Hey, I want to get with you," da 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 da, I was like, "Oh, y'all doing it like that?" He
But
didn't say,
Atlanta's different. I feel like I'm in Tampa, and the energy in Atlanta and the confidence in Atlanta is so different. It's
"Girl,
so
it's
different.
crazy." But it was when I saw the girl say she got in the car and she was like, "We going to the hotel?" He was like, "What? What?" She's like, "Yeah, bump all that. I'm ready to go to the hotel." I was like, "Am I in the car?" I was like, she's like, "Yeah, we don't need to go out." He said, "You don't want to go out to eat or nothing so I can lie to you or something?" She was like, "No, we good. Let's go to the hotel." I was like, where am I?" I'm like, "Am I not in the car? Am I not in the car?" Okay.
That's
He
somebody's
said,
whole daughter. Th- That's
"Girl, I
somebody.
was okay." But I was like, oh my God. So I'm like, it seems like all these beautiful women are having such a hard time dating because they have no sense of worth.
Mhm,
If you give it
mhm,
up like that, if you're coming to a man like that, then how do you expect him to value who you are? Everybody used to say something about Kevin Samuels, and some of the stuff I didn't agree with, but some
mhm.
things I did agree with because I'm
Facts.
like, on both
Yeah.
sides. Some of
Mhm.
these dudes is raggedy.
No doubt. I think that in regards to like standards, like you have to hold yourself to a certain level in standard before you try to ask somebody else to hold you to that standard.
Hmm.
Right? You can't tell somebody like, "Oh, you have to treat me premium," when you treat yourself like low ticket. Right? It has to be something like, as I remember reading in a book that the way you treat yourself is literally the blueprint to teach others on how to treat you. Right. And that was one of the things that Kevin Samuels used to always touch on. Like, you don't take care of yourself, so why are you looking for me to do it?
So, but yeah, that's true. But some of the things he used to say was so harsh. I was like, now come on now.
He was
I was like, come on now. I said, you must hate.
he was a little
I said, you
reckless
must
with
hate women,
it.
really. Okay, you really must hate women. Okay, and it's hard when you're in the entrepreneurial space because it's like if you're meeting guys that's in that particular space, and I'm just looking from a standpoint from some of my friends that I see, I's married, and I'm glad I's married because, woo, all right. But when I sit up here and see the game plan that goes on, and the men that they have so many selections, and it's like, you claim you want to settle down, but yet you want to play games, and it's like, where are you doing that? Where they doing that at? Like, when are you going to take me serious? But women are playing games too.
That part. It's happening on
Okay.
both sides. And there's a
Yeah.
lack of transparency oftentimes on both sides, right? And I think that that lack of transparency, once again, comes from a place of not knowing who you truly are and what your true worth is. All right. Because
All
if you
right.
can show up in a space of where it takes a level of confidence to just be genuine and authentic and transparent about what you're looking for, who you are, what you've been through, right? And not necessarily that it has to come up on the front end, but just being like, yo, if I'm not looking to date, then, or if I'm not looking for anything serious, at least say that, own that, right? And give that person the opportunity to make their own decisions as the adult that they are.
So, do you piss where you pot?
Nah.
So do you find it hard?
Nah.
And for those who don't understand what I'm saying, if you piss where you pot, if you're in a business setting and here it is, you have someone that you're kind of feeling and they're kind of feeling you, but it's a business setting or you're working with them. Do you mess with them? You know what I'm saying? Do you mess with them? And why
Mm-mm.
wouldn't you, Miss West?
First of all, our space is small.
Yes.
Our space is small, and just as professional as we can be, people talk.
Yes, they do.
People talk, and sometimes you rub shoulders with people that got pretty good size audiences, right? And it's too easy to get wrapped up in that. I've seen situations of where people may have rubbed elbows with somebody, and next thing you know, they out there on a podcast talking about them and airing their business out. And it's just kind of like, for me, it's just that's not an option for
Yeah,
me, right? Like I'm.
I just saw a female doing it. I was like, and I know who she was dating. You know who it is, right?
Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah.
why you doing that? You chose to help him look better in his appearance and,
Right,
helped him with his little clothing a little bit.
right,
And,
right,
said, come on, let's go work out a little bit. And you knew he had a kid. You knew, that he was still half dipping in on the other side, and you decided to deal with that. And then,
right. And that's the thing too. You got to question people's intentions
yes, are they
as
trying to
well.
get
And
you a come up, right?
right.
Although they were already at a level that they were at,
Hmm.
they were already at a level, but it was like you being on his arm was more of a trophy
Hmm.
as opposed to him really, want to be with you.
Right,
So,
right.
in the space of branding, as you said, that's not a good look, okay? And the
Mm-mm.
space is small. So, what would you say to women who are trying to get their business on, and here it is that they may see somebody that they vibing with? What would you tell them to do? What would you advise them?
Who in the business space?
As being authentic, and and yes, because you're all about being authentic. So, what would you tell?
Absolutely. I would say, like, I come from the standpoint of, if you are going to, right, keep it to yourself. Know who it is that you're dealing with. Like, literally take the time to slow it down and listen to their conversations. And people will reveal who they truly are. Sometimes you can tell by the conversations that people have, how they talk about their past experiences and the level of accountability that they take for themselves, right? You can tell when you're dealing with somebody who's mature or somebody who's not so mature. Right. But I'm all for just kind of keeping things to yourself.
Absolutely.
Right. You don't need to showcase everything. You should keep your money quiet, keep your relationships quiet, keep your family details quiet, right? Because just as much as there are people out here in this space that will applaud for you, there's some people that are waiting for your downfall too.
Oh, and they're constantly looking at your page on a consistent basis.
100%.
They're just like, let me see what they're doing.
100%.
Let me see what they're doing. So with that being said, as a person starts their business, what are the first most important things that you would give a new woman or somebody that's trying to start their business on being authentic? What are some of the things that they need to value and do? First steps.
Um, One of the things that I definitely believe are key is getting in proximity with the individuals that are experts in the space that you want to step into, and becoming a student.
Mm,
Right. I was listening to a sermon by TD Jakes, and he said that there's a lot of people who could do it on paper and they can't do it on people.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So don't be too quick to walk into a space of leadership if you've never been in a position of learning how to follow. You have to be able to follow first before you're able to lead. Right. And that's getting in proximity who have been followers and now are in a position of leadership. Right. Number two is humbling yourself enough to know that the more you know, the more you're going to realize you don't know a lot, right? And becoming an everyday student, constantly learning, constantly setting the tone to be, I want to be 1% better than I was yesterday. And whether that's a book, whether that's personal development, whether that's, mentorship, having conversations, like, all of this is going to be conducive, because what we have to realize is that our daily habits are seeds that are being sown. And at some point, your harvest is going to come up, and your harvest is going to represent and show you the seeds that you have sown. So when you come out and people are looking at you and you're not coming from a place of authority, it's because you didn't do the work. Right? Everybody loves flowers and everybody loves trees and all those other things. What we have to realize is there's gravitropic work that has to happen first, and the roots have to get dug in. The bigger the tree, the further down the roots go.
Mm. Yeah, my favorite saying is planting seeds today to reap the harvest for tomorrow. It's crazy because you know, as my I'm in business with my sons,
Mm-hmm.
and as I navigate and I see the women that try to holler at them, you know, and of course I'm there, so it's like, you know, because we come as a package. You know, I don't block or anything like that, but they do know, hey, you have to get past Dr. T first. I'll be like, look, I don't have nothing to do with it. They know what they're doing, and I trust what they say. But you know, when it's business, when I sit up here and look at things now, how things are so different, you know, everything you can be an overnight success with the internet.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely not like that when we were growing up. We had to put in a little bit more work
Mm-hmm.
with a traditional business. What would you give a person who is currently in business and they just don't know, they just don't know how they're going to start, you know, it's like, how do you be authentic? People always say that, well, just be your authentic self. Well,
What
how
does
does
that
that,
mean?
right? How do I be authentic?
uh, for for me, I believe that it's cutting yourself off from distractions and stop allowing other people's narratives to become your narrative. Right. And then it's
Hmm.
also a deep process of just asking yourself the right questions. Like, so many people believe that the entire point of success aims towards money, right? And don't get me wrong, because money is up there with oxygen, baby. Like, trust me when I say this. But at the end
I
of the
can't
day,
believe
right, exactly. And at the
that.
end of the day, but you have to ask why your motives underneath. Like, okay, cool, you want the money, but for what? Right?
Hmm.
And that'll kind of show you what your actual motives are in regards to, is it a thing of status? Is it a thing of love? Is it, does money, what does money mean to you? Is it freedom to spend time with your family? Or is it you feel like you need the money to go buy the cars and the houses because that's what somebody else told you was going to show you as successful? Right? When in reality, like, that's just not true. If it's not significant and in alignment with who you are and makes you feel good and wakes you up every day with a bit of energy, like a shot of espresso without you having to drink any,
Hmm.
then it's probably not for you. But we've been so acclimated to letting other people and social media and the things that we've seen tell us what happiness looks like, or
Hmm.
tell us what success is. Right? Success is literally any progression towards a worthwhile goal.
Say that one more time, Miss West.
Right? So success is the progression towards a worthwhile goal.
Mm.
So if you are a mother and or a young lady and you're just like, I want to have kids. Well, guess what? As you transition towards having a kid, like, that is success, because
Absolutely.
that's something that has significantly made you happy. If you wouldn't, whatever it was, the reason why you decided to start that business, and I do believe that if you're going to start a business, it needs to come from a place of service. If you're saying I'm gonna start a business just to make money, then baby, you not the hard times are gonna come and they're gonna knock you down because your why isn't strong enough, right? Your why isn't big enough. I know that when I started my business, I have my son who's 8. I have him watch the things that I do. Why? Because I'm doing this for him. This is a progression towards generational wealth, and I want him to be a part of this. So when he looks back, he understands what it takes to really get to said, you know, area of expertise, or just success in my definition.
Hmm.
Right? It's not something that's going to be handed to him because he's going to be a part of it.
Mm-mm. So how does he feel about mommy and her business?
Oh, he says mommy sells houses and teaches people sales.
That's cute. That's cute. That's cute. I know the boys, the men's rather. I can't even call them boys anymore because they're grown men.
You got
You
whole
know, I
men
got
over there.
I got grown men. Okay,
Yes, babe.
my young one, he's really funny. he tries to be dad. My dad. Okay. My dad.
Where are you
Okay.
going?
He's like, you're acting like a child. I'm like, what, dude? Like, you know, but it's quite funny because he has such a heart of gold, and I love the relationship that he has with his girl, and it's just so sweet, and it just goes to show what his dad and I and his bonus dad fed into him, and
Mm,
how his relationship is fostering into this beautiful flower. But it took time, and it's like, he was loved. He knew he was loved, and so thus for he's able to give love,
mm,
because I think, but also he loves himself. So you can't, if you don't love yourself, then how do you expect to love somebody else,
mm.
or expect them to love you,
Absolutely.
and support you in whatever it is that you're doing together. Okay. And I definitely believe that us being called the fampreneurs, you know, we're all about family.
Absolutely.
How do you take it? Can your significant other, do they support you in your business endeavors? That's another thing, because sometimes in business, one person can be successful
Mm-hmm.
and the other person be jealous of that
Mm-hmm.
person's success. So, as a woman in business,
Mm-hmm.
how do you handle the success, and can he handle it?
When you say handling the success, will you dive a little bit more into that?
Girl, they be jealous. Okay, they be. Uh, am I saying something that's not true or new? Is that? I mean, I'm
No,
just
that's
trying.
it. It's absolutely true. Fortunately, I do not have that problem. But
Okay,
I'm also extremely locked in because, like I said, at the end of the day, my intentions have been set based off of nobody else, right? I move based off of what God has instilled in my heart. So if you are not in alignment with it, there is always the option to exit left or exit right, like either way it goes. But this, as for me and mine's, like I have somewhere to be. I have an assignment that I'm called to.
well, I mean, some women are dealing with that, and the reason
100%.
why I brought up the Kiki Palmer situation is because the guy, Darius, I think is what his name was, his brother's an actor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But he was more in the background scene, and that's fine. Some people don't want to be out front. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Some people like being that support system. And so
Mm-hmm.
when you made the comment about her, you know, uh, I was like, she for the streets. Why she out there looking like that? And you got a man and a boo at home.
That part. That part.
Some people
100%.
are getting upset. Oh, the independence. I said, no. Now, this is before everybody knew that she had broke up with him. Okay. The bottom
Mm,
is the way you're perceiving yourself is that you guys are in this beautiful relationship. He's a stay-at-home dad, but but he supports what you're doing. And it's nothing wrong
that
for a
part.
man to support the woman if is the breadwinner, in my opinion. Okay. In my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, you got to be a strong man to be able to handle that, because some men ain't strong enough to handle the success of a woman. Okay.
That's very true.
So I'm like, okay, she looks absolutely stunning. And then she turned around and I'm like, okay, she for the streets. You got to do.
Mm,
How did you feel when
mm.
you saw that before knowing that they had broken up? How did you feel when you saw that?
So I might be, I don't know if people want to call it old school or whatever the case is, but I'm one of the ones that believes that if you're in a relationship, you're always presenting yourself as an extension of the person that you're with. Right. And I do feel that there's a clip I had just put up in Muhammad Ali. He said something that was so powerful. He said that everything of value God put on this earth isn't easy to find. You got to work for it. So why is it that you are my woman of value, but yet you are accessed so easily?
Did y'all hear that? No, that was awesome. Okay. I need to write that. Where my pen at? I need to write that down. I'm gonna have to play this back. Okay. That was fire. And that is so true.
It is. And I
Easily
think that
accessible.
women, yeah, like sometimes women, we can really undermine just the powerful entities that we are, right? And we don't need to, hey, maybe I'll get in trouble for this, but I don't feel that you need to exemplify and put your body out there to try to get attention that you can easily get
Which
from the gift that has. you know, like you can speak and you can move a room based off your energy,
There is such
right?
thing. I think that the young ladies today forget the art of seduction. Okay. All
Mm.
right. There is a
Speak on
thing
it.
as an art of seduction, and whether you are
Mm-hmm.
speaking from the stage and you can hypnotize a man, and it may have, the
Mm.
man may have said, "Oh, she's not attracted to me," or "I'm not into her," but the way a woman can exude herself
You
and
gotta
present
talk
herself,
about it.
okay,
Yes.
it's all of a sudden that fine man that
Mm.
she may have been interested in that wasn't interested in her sees her differently, all
Mm.
in the way that she carries herself.
100%.
All right. And and it was great to see Kiki's transformation, but I was disappointed in seeing her out there like that. I was like, wow, you one of my favorite people. And I'm like, you putting us, and like I said, you people like, okay, how you know about what's for the streets? She was for the streets.
Right.
Okay. That was,
Right.
I said, it must have broke up. That's why I said she wouldn't. Why would a woman go out like that when you got a man and a brand new baby at home? Something must have happened, and y'all must have got to an argument, or you broke up, and you're trying to prove a point.
But
That's what
but
I thought.
even still, like even if you are single, like who are you looking to attract?
All right, since you said that, it's a young lady that I know, and I love her dearly, and we would have conversations, and she's in her 30s, and I said, and she would always wear skin tight stuff. I said, and she was saying the guys that were trying to holler at her, and I was like, it's all in how you're dressing.
100%.
I said, but if you dress a different way, and I said, and let me show you. And we went to an event, and she put on my rap, and she was like, wow, the guys are treating me differently. I said, because it's how you present yourself. I said, you're in a professional setting. Why are you wearing that in a professional setting when we're here for business?
Mm,
That's not the appropriate attire.
that's good.
You could be sexy and all kinds of stuff with clothes on,
100%.
and it's how you present yourself.
Absolutely.
And so after I proved my point, she changed her whole way of how she moves now because she saw that she was now getting a better type of guy that was
Yes.
trying to holler at her as opposed to a gentleman. I mean, a man that was just for heat of streets. Not only
Mm-hmm.
the girl, the guys for the streets too.
Absolutely.
So so it definitely changed in that factor. So when you're in a business setting and you have other females that are in a business setting, do y'all get along?
So I definitely set the intention to try to create as many connections as I possibly can. I'm not one who is catty. I dealt with a lot of that when I was younger, in school, to where like girls didn't really like me. I was always very, very tomboyish, and also,
Yeah.
I played basketball since I was 6. I've been out here. I ran
Oh,
track. I used to ride motorcycles like baby. But another characteristic that I actually pride myself on is because of the things that I experienced from when I was younger. My mindset is that when God blesses me with the opportunity to be in alignment with somebody, whether it's 5 seconds or 5 years, my thought process is that I want to be a breath of fresh air in your life because I don't know what you've had to go through. Right? Because I've experienced some traumas, and people would look at me and never know. And they would just assume that I've been handed everything my entire life. But when I tell people the things that I've actually gone through, they're like, wait, what?
wow.
But I'm grateful for it because it's a blessing, because now I have the cognitive mindset to sit here and say, I don't know if you just went through something that was literally deteriorating to your life. So I'm going to be intentional about speaking life into you because I don't know if anybody else is failing to do so.
And sometimes it can just be that smile that, the
Hmm.
person that joined our community today, she's 10 years my senior. But the way we come in love, we come as family. And the one thing that she said is, she said, I just love the way you guys are with each other, and what some of the people are saying about you guys, that you're about family and you treat everybody. I said, whether you are blood or not blood, what people want is validation. They want to be accepted, and they want to know that somebody cares, and it's not just all about them. And so when, as you said, when you come out and do things, you do things of service. So you can't, we talked about the money aspect of it a little bit earlier. You can't do it for the money, because if you do it for the money, it is temporary.
Absolutely.
Okay. But when you do it
Absolutely.
for service and helping other people, and where you can change their life, the trajectory of their life,
Hmm.
then you will be rewarded 10 times fold.
Absolutely.
So, so when we see Miss Alicia out there helping all these people, okay, I'm like, okay, she cute. Okay, look what she got up to say. I'm like, oh, get it, Miss West. And it's funny because, like I said, when I'm in the setting, I'm either, now it's weird, I'm either the oldest,
Mm.
or they don't realize what age I am. That sometimes I think I'm in my 40s, and I just be sitting back chilling. I'll be like, oh, okay, and it's like, when they realize, they were like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm 55 now." I said, "But let's not get it twisted. Don't think I don't understand what you're saying or what you got going on, because some people will be kind of catty with me, and I'm like, girl, I'm too old for that.
Mm.
Okay." I said, so let's come together.
Mm.
If we got a problem, let's talk it out. And if I don't want to deal with you, or you don't want to deal with me, we can at least be cordial to one another.
And it's like a
But
problem for what?
the world is too big. It's big and small, technically. The world is too big. I don't care if we do the same thing. There's so much business out there for everybody.
What?
Your brand might not like my brand,
Mm.
and my brand may not like your brand, but that doesn't stop us from wanting each other to win.
That part. I want you to step
Okay.
into your abundance because that's your birthright. That's what God has aligned for you.
And I never understand that. And as I kind of worked in the MLM space for a little while,
Mm.
it was all about self, my team, my this, my that, my this, my that. And I'm like, whoa. And I didn't fit in that, because
Mm.
either I wasn't the I mean, I've been sharp since the day I was born. But
I know that's right.
what I will say is this: if you didn't have a particular body, or if you weren't a particular skin color, it was like, we in Atlanta, it's different. Okay. It's when they say the Housewives of Atlanta, is so funny. Some of that part of that you see visually is true with the Atlanta market. Okay. Like you said, Atlanta is a little bit different, but it's like you have to stay your authentic self, and that's the reason why we had Alisha come on. It is all about being authentically you, and people will follow your brand just by you being true to yourself.
100%.
you know so we talked about family, how we talked about some men, how you
Mm-hmm.
deal with men. Now, how you deal about the same sex hitting on
um, I say, that's sweet. Thank you, girl.
you? Is it awkward?
No, remember I played basketball.
That's
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah, and playing basketball, I was volleyball,
Mm-hmm.
and so yes, it's different. So there was always that thin line in the sport of volleyball and basketball
Mm-hmm.
and softball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is different. Well, you know how to deal with it,
Yeah.
but for somebody that don't know how to deal with it, what would you say to them?
Just be transparent. Just be honest. Speak your truth with love. Right? I
Okay.
don't believe anybody should be disrespectful in anything that you have to say. You can always be tactful, you can always be professional because you don't know what will happen in the long run. That person could very well end up having a partnership or something like that, or they may be a future client of yours. So you always handle everything with love.
That is absolutely true. Because you don't know who your next client can be. It can literally be you rude to that person.
Mm.
And then you get up into a place and you're like finding out that they're the actual owner of the company
Mm-hmm.
that you're trying to go after. So, yes, you should always be nice to
Yes.
everybody. Some people it's a little awkward for them.
Yeah, and I mean
It's
it's fair, but it's just like it's all about the frame that you put around your focus, right? Myron speaks about this a lot. There's a positive and a negative frame. Okay? And if you're
Mhm.
constantly focusing on the negative, you're going to continue to yield negative results. But if you just look at it from a positive standpoint and it's all up to us, then You can just like, it doesn't have to be as bad as it seems, right? It's the stories that we tell ourselves.
It's what we say to ourselves when we're by ourselves,
Mm,
you know?
that's key.
Um, it honestly is. It's like, wow, are you doubting yourself? Are you trying to commit suicide? I mean, people are just going through it.
Mm.
So, COVID, last couple of questions. COVID
Yeah.
was around, and how did you deal with the plant scamdemic?
So for me, I am an extroverted introvert, right? So as soon as they put us on lockdown, I was actually super cool with it. But at the time, I was a full time personal trainer. So my business went completely kabloop. All right. And I was like, well, dang, I could binge watch Netflix. And this is honestly before my personal development journey. Right. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I guess I'll make a shift. I have to pivot because I have family to feed. And that's how I actually ended up being introduced to real estate,
Wow.
was because I had to pivot into something that was a necessary resource. Right. And I believe that once again, it's all about the framework and your state of mind.
Mm,
And I know that it was tough for so many, but there was also so many opportunities.
yes,
And
it
if you
was.
failed to see the opportunities that were presented to you because you chose to focus on the negative things, then that's extremely unfortunate. But I submit to you that the next time something that comes through as a potential curse or a life changer, there is something that's greater on the other side, and it's there to challenge you to step into something that you didn't even know was waiting for you.
Step into your greatness.
I know that's right. Yes.
Okay, step into your greatness. So I am just excited about the beautiful, smart, talented Alicia West up here dropping all this amazing knowledge. And we had to give you some little laughter too, 'cause, again,
Right.
the fan from I gotta be all serious, but on Pussycat Talk Podcast, I'm gonna get down with the nitty gritty. I need to know what's going on, what's happening out there. But no, I like to have fun, and I like it to be a more relaxed environment and just let people. A lot of people sometimes just want to release and just say, "Hey, I love what marketing with Monray." She said, "Being an entrepreneur is ghetto," and it is sometimes because we do stuff
It
that
really is.
the resilience that we go through in keeping our
Mhm.
business afloat and the things that we have to
Mm,
learn, right? Is
that part
you know
on the fly,
right.
on the fly, literally. Like, ugh,
We have to pivot and shift.
ugh.
I don't know how many times, and folks just get comfortable on their job. And I'm like, when the plan scamming came, y'all was crying, but us folks that was entrepreneurs, we was able to pivot and we were able to flourish during such a hard moment.
Because we don't have a choice.
Right? We really don't, because if we have to eat what we kill, that's the thing.
That part,
Okay,
100%.
we have to eat what we kill. And Myron Golden was my first real mentor
Mm.
20 years ago. Okay, when his stuff
What?
was on, I showed him. I said, I still have
Not when his stuff was on cassette.
VHS, girl, yes, cassette tape VHS. I still have it. I took a picture and showed it. He was like, "Whoa!" And when he was peddling his books for $10 and $20, baby. So to see where he is, girl, I got chills thinking about it. So to see where
Wow.
he is now, it's mind blowing, and it's forever like, wow, to know that
Mm.
you can change the trajectory of your life because you have the internet. So when somebody says, "Oh, I can't make any money," that's a problem because you got a talent, you have the internet,
Hmm.
we got fiber, we got AI, and if you don't get on top of that, how are you feeling about this new technology? By the way,
Oh,
helping your business,
uh,
your business.
whew. So I actually have not tapped into it. Yeah, I haven't tapped into it, and I know it's extremely beneficial. There are plans to implement it kind of to help with the back end systems for sure. I do think that AI will is there to help you, not to replace you. And for those who are already lazy, they will become lazier, right? And I mean, that's just what's the law? Is it Price's law? Right? So as the numbers increase, the efficiency decreases,
Correct.
right? The efficiency becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. So
Mhm.
for those of us that are the person that's able to leverage AI, and utilize it in their business to become more efficient is going to succeed. And those of them that try to utilize it and step into the space and just not have to do more work, it's you're going to get called out.
Mhm.
Right. And this was a discussion that I had. A lot of people are just like, oh, I wrote a book, I did this and I did that. Okay, outstanding. So you utilize AI, which is smart, right? But what happens when you have to actually show it with your skill set and you don't have one?
Bloop. Okay. Okay. But see, I'm a brainiac, so I'm both sides. So, but
Exactly.
I do agree that you sit up here and you're writing a book on Chat GPT, but you ain't even read it. You just copy pasted it. So come on now, and that's what some people are doing. Some people are doing. But
Exactly.
we're in this new age and time where now man versus machine, and we just
Mm,
again we have to start leveraging things and being very careful of how
hmm.
we leverage so it doesn't control our life but we control it,
100%.
that we control it. But I just want to say thank you to the amazing Alicia West for being on today. I'm
Thank
so
you. Thank
grateful.
you.
I'm
Thank you
so
for having me. I
grateful.
genuinely appreciate it. Just being in your presence and your energy and just seeing you as a mom. And I remember you were one of the first people that I ever saw speak um, as you spoke at Neo's event.
Oh my god,
And that was the first seminar I'd ever gone to.
are you
Um,
serious?
That was the first seminar I'd ever gone to, and your testimonial was just extremely powerful. And as a mother who desires that so much for my children, and to see that success and to know, your testimony of sacrifice and having that mindset to be like, I'm not going to hope that me and mine are good. I am going to make sure that we are good. And having that mindset of just relentlessness and knowing that there was nothing that would not work for you because you were going to make it happen and you knew who you were and whose you were. And it
Exactly.
was just very, very powerful for me, especially coming from a space of where I had never seen, women on stage before. Like I said, that was like my first seminar. So to kind of see you, I was just like, oh wow, like this is it. I knew I was just in proximity. So now to be, like sharing, just words and conversations is just, it's very, very humbling. And I'm just very, very grateful.
You got me a little teary eyed over here. I'm truly appreciative to that, and if I can be that's the whole goal, to help somebody say, you know what, that was the thing. She's a mom, she's a wife, she's somebody's woman or whatever, daughter,
Mhm.
whatever. If she can do it, I can do it too. And that is the ultimate goal. No matter what's going down, you can make a way out of no way.
Absolutely.
So, Alicia, share your social media handle, please.
Oh, it is Alisha West, Alisha West, WST _ and that's the bottom slash, not the mid slash, the bottom slash for those who don't know, speaks, SPEAKS. And then on Facebook, you can find me at Alicia West. LinkedIn is Alicia West. I'm very consistent across the board, so don't want to confuse you guys, but yeah, tap in.
Tap in, people. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining us on Pussycat
Thank
Talk
you.
Podcast.